The championship tradition continues on UPN 9. Minnesota's best football teams square off to determine who is number one.
In the Class 2A championship, two teams with almost identical attacks. Both teams with a strong running game, and both have rushers with over 1,000 yards. Only one team will become the champion. It's undefeated Waterville-Elysian-Morristown against Pelican Rapids.
The 1997 Pep Bowl on UPN 9.
Welcome back to the Metrodome in Minneapolis. We're getting ready for our third state championship game. We have Vikings and Buccaneers, and the NFC Central has nothing to do with this one.
No, it doesn't.
Jeff Grayson along with Leo Lewis. Leo, we've got some potent offensive attacks squaring off in this one.
Oh, yes, we do. I tell you, Waterville-Elysian-Morristown has a potent attack both on the ground and through the air. Where Pelican Rapids is basically a rushing team. So we'll see how they stay in tune with what they've been doing all year long.
All right, we'll be back with the 2A championship in just a moment. Okay. Welcome back to the Metrodome, set for the 2A championship game. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown, the Buccaneers against the Pelican Rapids Vikings. Pelican Rapids, the home team on the scoreboard. They're in dark. They'll receive. And there's the kickoff, a short one, a blooper. It's taken at the 22-yard line. Getting away right there, Terry Motts, and we'll see a lot of him in the backfield. A short kickoff.
Yeah, but Motts was able to take care of it, and with all of his advertising as a good running back, he's able to get up the field and elude some tacklers.
Motts returned it to the 30-yard line. That is David Hagen, the coach of Pelican Rapids, his first year, and he's in the championship game. First and 10 at the 30 for the Vikings. Option, Motts. Got about 6.
He's showing his form right away here at the beginning for Pelican Rapids.
For Waterville-Elysian-Morristown, John Bakken in his 13th year. Waterville-Elysian won a state title. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown has not. Waterville-Elysian in '89. Pelican Rapids has not won a state title. Gain of 6 on the play for Motts. 2nd and 4, 36-yard line, just underway. Quarterback is Soberg, pitching to Schustrom to midfield. He's knocked out of bounds. David Morris making the tackle. We had a chance before the game, Leo, to talk about these offenses a little bit.
Right.
Pelican Rapids a little bit more of a ground team.
Yes, he is. And Schustrom, who just ran the ball, is only their 3rd best running back today. So as you can tell, they've got a lot of weapons back there running the ball.
Weiss has run for over 1,200 yards. Motts over 1,400 yards. There's the offensive line. They call it at the 49. Gain of 13. 1st and 10. Pelican Rapids on the move already. That's Jake Weiss. Got about 2. John Morshing making the tackle.
Now Weiss is going to be a two-way player. He's going to run the ball, but also he's going to line in the defensive backfield at linebacker.
Weiss, the Vikings leading tackle. Schnurr, Gilkey, Tegmeyer, Volbrecht, and Pittman, the Buccaneers defensive line. Then Storing, who we'll see later on offense. Geisler, Morshing, Jewison, Hauer, and Morris for the Buccaneers. Past midfield now. 2nd and 7. Schustrom, he ran for almost 400 yards so far this season. Volbrecht making the tackle.
That was a nice counter play. Pelican Rapids is mounting a nice first drive here. It's good to get on a good foot right here at the beginning of the game.
Roger Buxton and Rufus Best talked about this earlier. What is it like as a player that game ends and bam, the next one starts? Not that much time to loosen up on that field.
Oh, of course not, especially for us.
But what about for the players?
I tell you what, I bet they're ready to go.
3rd and 4, Soberg hands off to Schustrom, and he stopped.
Right.
Not much there.
Getting back to your comment, Jeff, I'm sorry. These guys they've been waiting all week to get on this field and show that they're the best in the state, and I'm sure it couldn't be any sooner for them.
Ryan Tagmeyer made the stop there. The Buccaneers with a stop at the 46-yard line. Vikings have to punt it away. Schustrom. This punt will be taken at about the 6-yard line. Tony Storing, and he's got some room. Up to the 30-yard line. A nice return, and the Buccaneers with pretty good field position. Jake Weiss making the tackle. No score in the 2A championship on the Menards. Welcome back to the Metrodome. We're in the home of the Vikings, and the Cook County Grand Marais Vikings won the last game. Pelican Rapids, they're the Vikings. They just punted the ball. They're off their first possession. We're in the first quarter. Jeff Grayson with Rufus Best. This will be our first look at the Buccaneers offense. And we talked about the high potency of Pelican Rapids. The Buccaneers have it too, and they start with a sophomore quarterback.
Yeah, Corey Hatchett was also a freshman player for this team, and he's considered one of their better athletes because he plays basketball also for the high school.
He's thrown for over 1,300 yards and 18 touchdowns, and he's got two guys behind him, Storing and O'Malley, who have rushed for over 1,000 each. This is O'Malley up to about the 35, 5 yards off the first. Jason Dillon makes the tackle.
O'Malley, a nice stout running back, as you can see there, has rushed over 1,000 yards himself.
There are the offensive players: Hackett, Storing, Whitus, and Mark O'Malley. Tegmeyer, Gerke, Pittman, Pallant, Kubal, Sheehy, and Jewison. The Waterville-Elysian-Morristown offense. 5 yards off the first play for O'Malley, 2nd and 5. Snuff that time, nothing doing. The Vikings snuff it out there. Jake Weiss, I have a feeling, Leo, we're going to hear his name a lot today.
Oh, of course, both on offense and defense. But as you can tell, Pelican Rapids is mounting a nice defensive stand here.
Loss of 1 there. Storing the carrier. Morrison, Kuvas, Weiss, Peterson, Trent Hagan. Moats, Bakken, Pavlaki, Dillon, Schustrom, and Fear. A lot of two-way players on these teams. A loss of 1. It's 3rd and 4 for Corey Hackett. Play action. He's rolling to the sideline. Cross field. Intercepted. Matt Fear to the 30-yard line. Pittman ran him out. Pelican Rapids with the first turnover of the game.
Well, I tell you what, during that rollout pass, the quarterback just was not on his mark. He had a receiver open. It just floated up a little bit too high, and obviously when you have a ball-hawking defense like Pelican Rapids, you're able to capitalize on that mistake.
The Vikings are in business on the Menards scoreboard. Corey Hackett with a tough pass here, and he paid the price.
Yeah, he found out that his primary receiver was covered and had to go to the secondary receiver, and just wasn't sharp at all. And as you can tell, Matt Fear from Pelican Rapids was able to capitalize on it and get some yardage.
No time to rest for Fear. He's back in there. He's lining up wide on the right side for the Vikings on offense. 1st and 10, 32-yard line. The pitch, Schustrom outside. He's got room. Breaks a tackle. First down, Vikings. Tegmeyer got him out. The sweep off the pitch.
Yeah, it was kind of more of a veer offensive type threat there, and he got a good game. Sustrom's carrying the ball more than the other two big guys that they have back there as running backs.
Ryan Schustrom breaks 1 tackle. They give him 15 yards. 1st and 10 at the 17. First man is Weiss.
Now, Weiss has over 1,200 yards this year as a runner. He's more of an inside runner. He also, on defense, is their leading tackler. So he's on the field just as much as anyone else.
There are Weiss's statistics, over 1,200 yards. Gabe Hauer made the tackle. 2 yards on that play for Weiss. 2nd and 8 at the 15-yard line. coming up on the midway point of the first quarter. Soberg to Weiss, first man through again.
Well, you're going to expect that a lot from Weiss today. I think last week he was the Vikings' leading rusher, scored 4 TDs and had just 12 carries. But I think you're going to see more of that today.
Tony Schnorr got him. 3rd and 6 at the 13-yard line. As the Pelican Rapids with a good stable of backs to go to. Left-handed pitch. Terry Moats. Inside the 10. He needed to get to the 7 for the first down. David Morris got him.
This time it's Moats taking the veer hand off. You have to understand that Jake Weiss has twice given good blocks on that type of run.
1st and goal, Vikings at the 7. He needed to get to the 7, and that's where he got.
Veer left and then veer right. Nothing like being effective, huh? With a simple game plan.
No disguising it. Pelican Rapids 12-1. Right up the middle, and the Buccaneers snuffed that one out. Schustrom was the carrier. Joe Gierke made the stop, one of about 4 players there. Give him a yard at 2nd and goal from the 6.
Well, the Vikings are just going to continue pounding it. I kind of get a sense that this is the type of game that they played all year round. And, you know, they're going to keep at it. They've been very successful.
Soberg has thrown 4 touchdown passes this season. 2nd and goal. Soberg keeps it. Touchdown, Vikings.
Well, you're going to have to add your quarterback as one of the rushing threats also in this Veer offense. They just have a lot of weapons back there, and they can utilize every one of them. The quarterback elects to keep the ball because the defense is going the other way, obviously, as you can see there, and he just jaunts right into the end zone.
I think the Buccaneers thought Schustrom was going to be the ball carrier on that one like he was the previous play.
That's one of the deceptions of the Veer offense.
Horatio Diaz with the extra point. So the Pelican Rapids Vikings take advantage on the Veer interception and lead 7-0 in the first quarter. Matt Soberg responsible for the first 6 points of this ball game.
Well, I'll tell you what, Pelican Rapids has not had a play where they've been unsuccessful. I think they've been doing really well. They're staying with what they do best, and that's running the ball.
There's the scoring drive. 6 plays, 32 yards. Soberg caps it off. Pelican Rapids with 55 yards on the ground so far. Horatio Diaz kicks it off. It's taken at about the 7 by Tony Storing. Gets to the outside. Good field position for the Buccaneers on their second drive. He's past the 40-yard line.
Well, I can tell right away Tony Storing is a great return specialist. You know, he has over 1,100 yards rushing, but he returns the punts and kickoffs for this team, and he's doing a great job so far.
Ben Nelson makes the tackle, but the Buccaneers will take over at the 42-yard line. 1st and 10. Down 7-0. The turnover cost them. Ben Howland that was. I'm sorry, we have Nelson in the program. It's Howland. 2 backs behind Hackett. The guy who returned the kickoff, Storing, out past the 45. Gain of about 5 yards. And Matt Fear, another guy all over the ball, the one who made the interception, makes the tackle. They give him 4. It's 2nd and 6 at the 46-yard line.
Well, I'm sure the Buccaneers also want to kind of stay with their game plan for the day and, you know, just work at it, be patient, and try to get the yards and then get the first downs. And, you know, before you know it, maybe, you know, being close to the goal line will come.
You see Storing's numbers on the season, over 1,100 yards. Mark O'Malley has rushed for over 1,000, and O'Malley's got the ball. just inside Vikings territory. He got tackled around the 50-yard line.
Just as you see the elusiveness of Storing, you see the bowling ball running appeal of O'Malley.
It's right at midfield. Eric Kuvas makes the tackle. It'll be 3rd and 2.
Hey, all he knows is to go forward for a positive yardage.
There are O'Malley's numbers. 4 1,000-yard rushers in this game. Each team has 2 of them. 3rd and 2, the pitch. Storing, and he's upended. Schustrom, Ryan Schustrom making the tackle. He may be a yard short. He needed to get to the 48. It's 4th and 1. Schustrom, another two-way player, making the stop.
Well, I tell you what, there was a great block by the receiver, number 22, Tom Bowers, but it wasn't enough to get the running back to a first down.
Jim Whitus making the punt there. Fair catch signal. And it's caught by Moats. So the Vikings hold the Buccaneers again. Another punt, 7-0, Pelican Rapids. And Leo, I know you've been waiting to say this, so take it away.
All right, KMSP Television has purchased the broadcast rights to the 1997 Minnesota State High School Prep Bowl. No broadcast, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and account of this copyrighted telecast is permitted without the written authority of KMSP Television or the Minnesota State High School League.
Don't you feel better after saying that?
Of course.
Weiss, the ball carrier there. Not as good a field position this time. No turnover. Gierke making the stop. Weiss was the ball carrier. They give him a yard. 2nd and 9, ball at the 22-yard line.
Well, of course, the Vikings go back to what they do best, running the ball. Their first 2 drives are pretty successful. They were able to move the ball, except for one. The first one was stopped.
Pelican Rapids 12 and 1. Handoff, lots of running room there. Moats. It's a foot race now. No one will catch him. Touchdown, Vikings. 78 yards.
Well, that's what I've been hearing about this young man. He's a game breaker, and you can see that he had the moves and the speed to get out in the open and break it away. And he's got over 1,400 yards rushing, and there's one case of why he's achieved those stats. Great blocking. Hardly anybody touched him. Practically no one touched him, and again, he outraced the defenders. Shows a lot of speed there.
It looked like for a second that the Buccaneers had the angle on him, but Moats put on the burners. Diaz with the extra point. It's good. The quick strike offense of Pelican Rapids. It's a 14-0 game. 2:25 left first quarter. On the first drive, they take advantage of the turnover.
Right.
And off of a punt, the second play of the drive, Moats goes 78 yards. Here it is again.
It's no doubt that having a runner of this caliber is great for an offense. You know, you've got your inside game, you've got some passing game, but to have a game breaker like this, a young man who has the speed to get outside and get into the defensive backfield is great for our offense. He just outruns both of those defenders.
14-0. Pelican Rapids comes in at 12 and 1. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown 13-0. This is the most points the Buccaneers have been behind. They're not used to this when you're unbeaten like that.
Actually, they've only allowed one team this year to go over in double figures, so this is more of a rarity for the Buccaneers.
And the Buccaneers this year have outscored their opponents 100-7 in the first quarter. A lot different story this year. This is Storing again. He's had some good returns already, and he's got another one. Up near the 40-yard line, giving his team good field position again.
And, of course, the Buccaneers have a similar talented player on their team in Storing. You can tell he just has a knack of being able to get in the open and getting upfield.
Chad Morrison making the tackle. Buccaneers will take over at the 40-yard line. There's our story. Pelican Rapids getting out to the quick 2-touchdown lead. Here's how they did it. 78 yards by Terry Moats. That is quick, efficient work, Leo.
Yes, of course, and a memorable run here in the Prep Bowl.
The Buccaneers take over, trying to get something going. Corey Hackett at quarterback. The pitch. Morshing. John Morshing. Got about 3 yards before he was tackled by Holland.
Well, I've noticed the Buccaneers are kind of getting out of the conservative style in terms of their formations. They had 2 wide receivers out there and also a split running back, so maybe they feel that they're going to have to spread out the defense in order to get some yardage here. Good run by this young man.
Ben Hovland making the tackle. 5 yards, up to the 45-yard line, 2nd and 5. Hackett. He's thrown for over 1,300 yards this year, and he completes the pass. Gabe Hauer knocked out of bounds at the 49-yard line. Schustrom making the tackle. We'll see where they mark it. It's right. Should be a first down for the Buccaneers.
Yeah,
First
Howard.
and 10, and they needed that.
That's right. Howard had the good instincts to know where he was on the field before he went out of bounds. He made sure he got the first down.
1:31 left in the first quarter. There are Howard's statistics of Hackett's favorite targets. First and 10 at the 49. Quick through the hole is John Morshing. Got about 1 or 2 yards before he was tackled by Weiss.
And again, the Buccaneers are trying to spread the defense out with multiple formations. Previously, they had 4 receivers before the first down, and now they're spreading out again with 4 receivers.
They give him a yard. 2nd and 9 at the 48. A minute left, first quarter. Handoff again, right through the hole goes Morshing, all the way down to the 40-yard line.
That was a nice quick dive play there.
Kirk Peterson makes the tackle. It sets up 3rd and 1 at the 40. Should get 1 play in before the end of the first quarter. Here's the play.
Nice blocking scheme by the Buccaneers. Using the instincts of the running back to get some more yardage there.
3rd and 1. What do you think? The quick handoff one more time that's been working for him?
Oh, of course. They only have 1 receiver out here. Let's bet on that, huh?
Hackett's throwing.
Well, we don't need to bet anymore, do we?
No. Pass intended for Whitus. It was a timing pattern, and the timing was off. Brings up 4th and 1. So on 3rd and 1, they go to the air.
Yeah, of course. And, of course, it wasn't successful, but it was a good idea. The receiver was open.
9 seconds left in the first quarter. 4th and 1, and the Buccaneers at this point in the field will go for it.
I think this would be good for the Buccaneers if they can get this first down. It would help their momentum.
Hackett hands off. O'Malley breaks a tackle, and he's got the first down.
There's nothing like good instincts and brute strength to get that short yardage gain. And as you can tell, they have it. Buccaneers have a nice, strong inside runner there.
Lucas Bakken makes the tackle, and that'll be the last play of the first quarter. So, Boom Boom O'Malley.
That's right.
That's what they call him, and he booms through for a first down, but it's Pelican Rapids with a 2-touchdown lead after 1 quarter on Menard scoreboard.
That was an interesting interesting quarter there.
The Buccaneers defense gives up less than 6 points a game. They're down 14 as we head to the second quarter.
Well, Pelican Rapids has mounted a good rushing game, and we're seeing some signs of a good rushing game by the Buccaneers here.
Moats leads Pelican Rapids, 3 carries, 89 yards. He got 78 on that long touchdown. 1st and 10. Buccaneers to the 37. Hackett rolling out. He's got a man. It's caught. Inside the 10, Gabe Hauer, 1st and goal, Buccaneers.
Oh, great pass, great catch there. Gabe Hauer was able to keep his eye on the ball as he was going out of bounds and kept his feet in.
You need 1 foot. You don't need
That's
two
right.
like where you used to play, Leo.
That's true.
Here it is.
He kept focused on that ball as he was getting near the end line there. Yep, got one in.
They mark it at the 9. 28 yards on that pass.
As you well know, Hauer is the leading receiver for the Buccaneers. He caught a 65-yard pass against St. Agnes last week for a touchdown.
We got a timeout on the field. Looks like the Vikings want to talk things over. They take their first timeout of the half. Buccaneers driving. When we come back, it'll be 1st and goal at the 9 for the Buccaneers. There's our score on the new Dodge scoreboard. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown knocking on the door.
It's good. The Buccaneers have had a good drive here. They've made some good plays. They had to get the 4th down conversion there previously. I'm sure they're trying to stay patient and make sure they have the right play called here.
1st and goal from the 9. Hackett calling the signals. He's got O'Malley behind him. Timing pattern in the end zone. Touchdown! Gabe Hauer.
Like I mentioned before, Gabe had a 65-yard touchdown pass last week against St. Agnes. He hasn't caught 430 yards for nothing this year. But this really shows a lot of concentration. You know you have that defensive back in front of you and to still concentrate on the ball and get the score is great.
What a pass by Hackett.
Oh,
you caught your share of those. That has to be right there, doesn't it?
That's right. It sure does.
Extra point try by Y is blocked. So it's a 14-6 game on the Dodge scoreboard.
Well, you know, we never talk about the third facet of a team, and that's special teams. Sometimes a missed field goal or a missed extra point can be the difference.
The Buccaneers on the board, and what I like about this pass, Leo, it's either going to be caught or incomplete. It won't be picked off.
That's right. The quarterback had a nice timing pass there, but really you're using the athletic ability of the receiver to get this touchdown pass.
There is Gabe Hauer, who caught the touchdown. And that's how the Buccaneers did it. 8 plays, 60 yards in about 2.5 minutes.
Well, we're seeing some good action here on both sides.
Line drive kick picked up by Schuster at about the 25, and he's got room. So far, there hasn't been a bad return in this game. Tegmeyer makes the tackle, but the Vikings with good field position at about the 43-yard line.
Well, you know, Schuster's, again, showing us some of his athletic ability. He was able to elude some of the tacklers and, you know, put Pelican Rapids in some good field position again.
Ryan Schustrom up to this game, 384 yards rushing, but 11 touchdowns on 112 carries. That's a pretty good ratio. Moats has run for 1,450 coming in with 22 touchdowns.
Yeah, it just goes to show you they have a lot of weapons, and you know, Sustrom does it all. He plays defense, offense, you know, and his own special teams too.
Moats lines up on the left side. Handoff to Weiss, trying to get outside. He looks like John Riggins on that play, doesn't he?
Yes,
45-yard line, and Hauer makes the tackle.
It looked like he wanted to take on one of those tacklers there before he went out of bounds.
Now that's the defensive player in Jake Weiss, the leading tackler on defense for the Vikings. And he picks up a first down. 1st and 10 at the Buccaneers 45. He just reminded me of Riggo there in that one Super Bowl run where he tries to get outside and runs over people.
Well, it was designed as a straight-on dive play, but he was able to take it outside and get some added yardage.
Well, he got by Jason Geisler first. This is Soberg. Not much there. Might have gotten a yard. Bruce Volbrecht there.
Well, the Buccaneers played that well defensively. They had a cornerback go and get the running back just in case the quarterback was going to pitch it to him, and he made sure he was covered. So the quarterback just kind of had to eat that ball.
Matt Fear runs in the play. He made the interception that set up the first Vikings touchdown. 3 in the backfield. Moats, Sjustrom, and Weiss. And it'll be Moats. Lots of room. Can he win this foot race? Yes.
Wow.
Touchdown, Vikings.
I'll tell you what, again, we see the electrifying speed of Mr. Moats. There's no substitute for it.
44 yards.
Again, he's rarely touched as he gets into the defensive backfield, and of course his speed and with confidence he gets into the end zone.
Terry Moats, 4 carries, 133 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
You think he's tired yet?
He's just getting started the way he's running right now. 20-6, Diaz on for the extra point. It is good. 21-6, so the Vikings wasting no time in answering the Buccaneers score with one of their own.
Well, again, we knew before the game started that Pelican Rapids had a great offense, a great rushing game, and they've shown evidence of that early on in this game here.
Terry Moats, 78 yards for 1 touchdown, 44 on this one. As you said, no substitute for speed. Here it is again in slow motion.
Of course, with the lead blocker, Moats is, it's just too clear of a run here. I mean, it's almost too easy. And again, he uses his athletic ability to get away from the defender.
Great teams in this prep bowl, but the Buccaneers are not used to being in this position when you go 13-0 and you only allow 73 points coming into this game. Pelican Rapids with 21 already, and there are Moats' numbers. And let's hope that's just a cramp or a...
Yeah. Well, it has to be. No one's tackled him.
Well, we're set for another kickoff. Caught at the 5-yard line. This is Tony Storing, who's had some great returns already. Stopped at about the 27-yard line. No team really with bad field position. Mitchford Orn making the tackle.
Well, I tell you what, the Buccaneers, we can tell what type of team this has been throughout the year. If they can mount a good offensive threat here and get back into this game, we know that they're not just here by luck. They've been a good team all year. They haven't lost a game, and hopefully we'll see some good reason why.
The Vikings don't throw as much. You'd almost think their drives would take longer, but they've been doing the quick strikes thanks to the offensive line and the speed of Moats.
I tell you, big plays has been the answer for them.
Corey Hackett brings them up at the 24-yard line. 1st and 10. O'Malley bounces off of 1 tackle. He gets to the outside, and that's why they call him Boom Boom. Sjustrom makes the tackle.
Well, we can tell he's not really an outside runner. I don't think his body really dictates that he needs to take advantage of those outside runs, but at the same time, he gets some yardage. He gets about 4 or 5 yards there.
Mark O'Malley, 13 touchdowns, 1,062 yards coming into Prep Bowl 16. They give him 5 yards, 2nd and 5 on the 29-yard line. Early in the 2nd quarter, but lots of points already. Sophomore Corey Hackett. He's thrown 19 touchdowns now. Handoff. That's Tony Storing, still on his feet, across the 35. He gets a 1st down. 1st and 10 off the feet of Storing.
There's the other complement to their offense. A nice, quick dasher who has good feet. He's able to get the 1st down.
Devin Pavlaki makes the play. 1st and 10 at the 37 for the Buccaneers. Buccaneers and Vikings. It's fitting I'm with you for this one, right?
I didn't notice that, but I guess you're right.
Dennis Green and Tony Dungy would be happy with the nicknames. 1st and 10. Hackett so far hasn't thrown on this drive. Storing Not much there. May have gotten a yard, if at all.
That didn't look like it was designed well enough for a gain there.
Pelican making the tackle for the second straight play.
Well, here we go with a massive substitution by the Buccaneers.
The defense making the stop there.
Now they're going back to their 4 wide receiver formation.
Jim Whitish, number 19 in white in the game. One of Hackett's favorite receivers. Don't forget Hauer either. Hackett, quick pass. Hauer, complete. Across the 45. First down, Buccaneers.
They may have an answer to their problems here. Hopefully the Buccaneers can utilize some of their passing game as we see fit.
Bakken makes the tackle, but it's a 21-yard gain. Corey Hackett, the quick strike.
And of course, Corey is known for that. He's at over 1,300 yards passing, 18 touchdowns passing.
Hauer caught it in traffic and created some space after the catch. 1st and 10 at the 42. If you like offense, you should like this game so far. Just over 8 minutes left, first half. Hand off to Boom Boom O'Malley. Got to about the 40, may have crossed over to the 39, depending where the referees mark his forward progress. Jason Dillon making the tackle.
Well, it seems like that's what O'Malley is suited for, even though he looks a little shaken up right here. But I tell you what, he's a strong-looking young man. I think if they utilize him in the middle more, he'll be more effective.
He's listed at 5'7", 205. He's going to get lots of leverage, that leg strength going on those plays. They give him 2. It's 2nd and 8 at the 40. Buccaneers trying to answer the Pelican Rapids drive. O'Malley in motion. The give is to Storing, and he only got about a yard.
It's happening all at the line of scrimmage. I don't think that front line of the Buccaneers is really moving the defensive line of the Vikings away from the line of scrimmage.
Kirk Peterson making the tackle. They gave him a yard. It's 3rd and 7 off the Peterson stop.
Right, it's pretty congested there, as you can see.
3rd and 7. All of Hackett's completions have been to Hauer.
Here we go with this split formation.
Well, they need a 3rd down conversion here. Buccaneers. Hackett. Incomplete. He was under pressure. It was intended for Justin Miller. Devin Pavlaki right around the play.
Well, the Vikings were ready for that pass. They only rushed 4 people and had the rest in defense, pass defense.
It looked like for a second from the blind side that Hackett would get sacked, but no. Well, no 3rd down conversion. How about a 4th down conversion? 4th and 7 at the 39.
That's showing some confidence there in this offense.
Hackett, quick drop. Over the top for Hauer. Incomplete. Fear was right there, as was Lucas Bakken. They went over the top again. Incomplete.
That's right. The pass was a little short, but again, the receiver didn't have much space to operate in. A good defense. You had the safety come over and hit the receiver. So it turned out almost as an interception.
Pelican Rapids takes over on the Dodge scoreboard. Pelican Rapids leading 21-6. They have scored on their last 3 possessions. They punted on their first possession, have scored 3 in a row, and they'll start trying to make it 4 at their 39-yard line.
Well, so far in this game, we've known them to have the big play, and that's what's caused a lot of their success, making that big play.
Soberg in traffic, intended for Fear. He was tightly covered there. Gabe Hauer. So a little reversal roll there. Yeah. Hauer, who was the receiver on the previous play, on Fear. Jeff Grayson along with Leo Lewis. Here's another look at the play.
Well, we've seen some signs of the Buccaneer defense really stifling the opponent, and there it goes again. Another evidence that they've got things pretty shored up there.
Moats is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Looks like no gain. He's met by a couple of players, including Tony Schnorr. They give him a yard. It's 3rd and 9 at about the 40-yard line, but Moats was stopped there.
Well, I'm sure the Buccaneers are used to being in this position. You have 3rd and long. You know, they just haven't in the past allowed a lot of yardage on the ground, let alone during the game.
Let's see what the Vikings do. Full house in the backfield. There's the pitch to Sjostrom, and he's got room on the outside.
Not quite a first down, but as you can tell, the deception of this Pelican Rapids offense is becoming pretty successful.
Jason Geisler in there on the play. It's 4th and 1, only a yard short off the pitch. Soberg, adept with the left hand on the pitch.
Well, it looks like they're going for it. Here again.
They'll go for it on 4th and 1. We saw the Buccaneers go for it a moment ago. 4th and 1 at the 48-yard line.
Ooh, that will be very close. That will be very close.
Weiss carried the ball.
It looks like they may have it.
Brian Pittman made the tackle. It's really all up to where the referee spots it, isn't it?
Of course.
We'll get the chains. They're calling for the chain gang from atop the Metrodome. Here's a look.
Well, it's congested, no doubt about that, but it really does depend on where that referee sees fit in terms of his advance.
That 3rd and 9 pitch to Sjostrom set up the 4th and 1, and Weiss got enough. He needed to get to the 49, and he's just across it, barely.
Well, it looks like Coach David Hagen has a lot of confidence in his offense, and he should be. They've more or less taken command when they have the ball.
First-year coach, too, and here he is leading the Vikings to the championship game. Rollout pitch, Sjostrom creating room for himself. That's about a 5 or a 6-yard gain. The ball is loose, and it's a fumbled ball as he was getting down to the ground.
Wow.
The Buccaneers take over. Tony Storing in there. It looked like Sjostrom, after creating that room, was about to go down, but the ball came loose. Buccaneers take over at midfield.
Well, I tell you what, he did a great job eluding all these tacklers. He pretty much did a lot of this on his own, but he just did not protect the ball, which usually happens when you have pursuit.
Comes loose in there, right there.
Yeah, he just took it away from him. Nothing wrong with that from a defensive standpoint.
Tony Storing with the strip of the ball. Was that a great play?
Yeah, the two-way guy.
He's in the backfield. He's got the ball. He's throwing the option. Howard, shoestring catch. Oh, my. Weiss makes the tackle, but it's about a 40-yard gain for the Buccaneers.
Well, Coach John Bakken kind of went into his creativity bag and pulled that one through. It's nothing more glamorous than to have your halfback complete a pass.
I think Storing deserves to take a breather on this play. He strips the ball of the fumble, and then he throws the option.
Nice catch by the one and only Dave Howard.
35-yard gain to the 15-yard line. Storing deserves a breather.
That's right, 2 big plays in a row.
1st and 10 Buccaneers. They're back in business. Handoff. John Morshing upended at the 10-yard line by Devin Pevlaki, someone whose name we've been calling quite a bit.
Pevlaki is the 2nd leading tackler for this team, has 2 interceptions, 94 tackles for the year.
4 yards on the carry by Morshing. He comes out along with Hauer, so it's 2nd and 6 at the 11-yard line. They can get a first down without having to score a touchdown. Lots of offense, some fun action in the first half.
Well, the Buccaneers seem to be doing well with this 2-back offense here that they have. One receiver split out.
Tony Storing, the deep back. He gets the ball. Gets across the 10, and he's still going. He moves the pile to about the 5-yard line.
There's nothing better than to see second effort by a young man. Someone who doesn't want to quit.
Pavlaki again making the tackle. It's at the 5-yard line. That should be first and goal, depending on which side of the 5.
And here we go with another measurement.
Hackett going over to the sideline to get instructions. First and goal, Buccaneers. So just when you thought the Buccaneers were in a little bit of trouble when the Vikings took over, Tony Storing strips the ball and then throws a halfback option on the next play. And the Buccaneers are knocking at the door now.
Right. Now, Pelican Rapids is known for having turnovers, too. The defense caused 4 turnovers last week. So they've been known to give a good defensive stand.
First and goal at the 5. O'Malley in motion. Storing on the pitch. Hit hard at about the 4.
Good pursuit by the Vikings there on that play.
Jason Dillon. Tony Storing. He's running. He's stripping the ball. He's throwing passes, this time on the pitch.
That's right. A good effort trying to get rid of that defender at behind the line of scrimmage, but just couldn't overcome the pursuit there.
Second and goal at the 4. Hackett. He's got O'Malley and then Storing behind him. O'Malley, first guy through to about the 2. It'll set up third and goal. Jake Weiss, always around the ball.
What a better position to have your offense in when you have Weiss and these other guys in the offense. I mean, you could really be diverse in how you approach this. They've run several different plays.
Third and goal from just outside the 1. Coming up on 2 minutes in the half. Hackett moving O'Malley to the right. Hackett rolling out. Can he get in? He's in. Touchdown. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown.
Well, we haven't seen that much from Corey Hackett up until now. You know, he's either handed it off, throwing the pass, or giving it off to the halfback to throw the pass. But, you know, he's one of their better athletes. Normally, you have your best athlete at quarterback.
I thought he might get denied at about the 1, but with second effort, he took on 3 Viking defenders.
Right, and he's just a sophomore.
He beat Lewis Bakken there. Determination for Corey Hackett. It's 21-12. And John Bakken talking things over with his team as they decide to go for the conversion from high atop the dome, Leo.
Well, this is a good play. Obviously, he had to do it more on his own because you don't see any white shirts there. So the quarterback did a good job. Hackett showed some good leadership on this series of downs here.
He barely got in, too, when he took on Lucas Bakken. Right there. He gets in, though, over the plane in the end zone.
Again, he has a knack of good running to be able to smell that end zone, and he lose some tacklers just enough to get over the goal line there.
Just as Pelican Rapids took advantage of an interception to score their first touchdown, the Buccaneers take advantage of the fumble, which Tony Storing created. And it's a 21-12 game. Buccaneers going for 2 here, which would bring it to 7. So it's 21-12. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown going for 2.
Well, I think after missing that extra point on their first touchdown, and they may just try some more creativity by going for 2 here. Coach John Bakken has them in a good formation.
Here's Hackett. O'Malley in motion. Hands off to Storing, who stopped at about the 2-yard line. Good tackle there by Trent Hagan.
That's pretty tough to run the ball from that far out, but that's what they do best. We just didn't do it today.
Buccaneers with 2 touchdowns, but no extra point or conversion to show for it thus far. The Vikings lead at 21-12. That is a tough place to run it in.
That's right.
Here is how the Buccaneers did it. They took over off that turnover, Tony Storing, and then the big play off the halfback option, which really seemed to give the Buccaneers some momentum.
Well, it gives you a sense that Coach John Bakken has some confidence in his offense. I mean, they went down there. I don't know how long the drive was, but, you know, they had some good leadership by the quarterback. He took it in for the touchdown. At the same time, a lot of people utilized the ball and were able to get their hands on the ball during that drive.
There is John Bakken, not to be confused with Lucas Bakken, one of the players for Pelican Rapids. They went 50 yards in 6 plays in just over 2.5 minutes. And here is Sjostrom at about the 20-yard line, and he has been elusive on kickoffs. Can he go all the way? One man to beat. Touchdown, Pelican Rapids.
Wow, what a change of events.
81 yards.
Well, I tell you what, Sjostrom has shown all day long that he has the elusiveness to cause missed tackles. But again, on these special teams, it's so important to have your special teams do well. I tell you what, he just went into the open areas. He wasn't even touched during this play. And again, showed his speed.
He had to get past Jim Whitus, and he did. Both teams have had great returns on punts and kickoffs. Ryan Sjostrom taking it to the house. Diaz on to try to make it a 28-12 game. Horatio Diaz. No good. It was wide right, and he didn't miss by much. So it's 27-12, Pelican Rapids. We were just talking about the Buccaneers scoring drive, and Pelican Rapids, like a boxer, comes right back.
Comes right back, yeah. So I guess the touchdown by the Buccaneers was a moot point. They didn't gain any points.
It was 21-6, and now they've each scored 6 more. So it's 27-12. So Sjostrom taking it all the way.
It's good to have the ball in the hands of your best athletes and best players, and Sjustrom's been doing that all day today. He's just so elusive. He's got those long legs and has a long stride. I bet he runs track too.
Yes, he's got the grace, the stride. I thought at about the 35-yard line that Whitus might catch him, but Sjostrom went all the way. 27-12, 39 points scored between these two teams.
Already.
And there's still 1:40 left in the first half. The Pelican Rapids Vikings 12-1 coming in. It's taken at the 10-yard line by Tony Storing. He tries to get to the outside. Gets by the kicker. What a run by Tony Storing. He has had 3 solid returns.
Of course. Let's just make this a special teams day. We're having all the action. Electrifying runs here.
Jason Bunkowski makes the stop. We've called Tony Storing's name quite a bit. Sjostrom has 7 carries, 44 yards rushing, 2 kickoff returns for 102 yards and a touchdown. So Sjostrom alone has 146 yards.
He's all over the place. He's their second leading receiver. He's had 83 tackles on defense. I guess at this level, you're just going to have two-way players like that who can perform on both sides of the ball.
A theme in this first half, Leo, good field position. Neither team backed up. The Buccaneers start this drive at their 44-yard line.
Really, that's a sign of the failure of the kickoff teams of getting that ball down the field.
Hackett complete. Jim Whitus to the 45-yard line. Hovland makes the stop. Well, it's a first down for the Buccaneers. So the Buccaneers wasting no time at all.
Well, we find that Whitus is really their leading receiver. He's been their leading receiver all season. We're just now getting to see him more.
Hauer has caught most of the balls in the first half from Hackett. Quick drop and pass low, but Hauer makes the catch, gets out of bounds, stops the clock at 1:13.
That's right, smart move. Even though he lost some yardage on that, he wanted to stop the clock.
We were talking about special teams. I gave you Schustrom's stats. Tony Storing has 4 kickoff returns for 106 yards. So that's about more than 25 a return right there.
And both of them are getting the ball nowhere near the end zone, so they're really providing good field position for their offenses.
That's 26 plus per return right there. Buccaneers in Viking territory. 2nd and 6 at the 41 off the Hauer completion. Hackett across the middle, complete. Getting away. Jason Geisler, touchdown.
Wow. Now that's determination.
41 yards. If you like big plays, this is the game for you.
It is a game of big plays, isn't it?
Jason Geisler, and he caught a bullet from Corey Hackett.
Hackett drops back finally, throws a nice strike, but this is awesome right here. Determination, knocks off the defender.
He showed no fear in getting by Matt Fear. That's who he bounced off of at about the 15-yard line.
Great play. This is a game of big plays here.
Right now, it's 27-18. The Buccaneers will go for 2 for the second time. Remember, they missed their first extra point kick.
Well, they spread the defense out right now.
Hackett with lots of time, and he's got a man.
Play.
Justin Miller, and it's a 7-point game.
The old okey doke. The receiver, all the receivers did was crisscross, and that confused the defense of the Vikings.
Now, this is a game that, like, Don Coryell, I would think, would love. Just all these points, and
that's right.
One team seems to be doing it with running, and now the Buccaneers are starting to open up the passing game.
Wow, 47 points in one half.
We're not done yet because that took about a minute, if that.
Well, this is one reason why football is such a good TV sport, too. You can have games where you can score a lot of points.
Hackett punching it through. The Buccaneers having their trouble going for 2 until now.
Yeah, he was just wide open. The receiver helped cause some diversion there at the goal line, but clearly was wide open when he caught that 2-point conversion.
There is Coach John Bakken. First-year coach Haugen.
I would say Coach John Bakken of the Buccaneers is being very creative.
Well,
wow, I don't understand that kick. I'm sure we have some high school players that can kick farther than that, but maybe it's something that's called play. But I still don't understand why you would give a good field position to your opponent like that.
Lucas Bakken off the return there. Not much of a return, really. A little bit shaken up. He's okay. Well, NBA players get 24 seconds to shoot.
Right.
The Buccaneers got 24 seconds to go about 60 yards and score that touchdown.
Yeah.
Still over a minute left. Let's see how the Vikings play it here. They'll play it on the ground with Weiss over the 40. And Brian Pittman making the stop.
Sorry, and why not? I mean, that's their game plan. And it hasn't been unsuccessful, let's put it that way. But we've seen some great runs from this offense of the Vikings.
Do you think at this point they just run it, play it safe, and go to the dressing room with a 7-point lead?
With 47 points, I'm not sure what they're going to do. I'm sure they want to score again before they go in there.
27-20. We have quite a game. As you see the passing yards, well, that's going to change now. Sjostrom, is he quick off the catch to the 40-yard line?
You said it, Jeff. He's got very quick feet, and with his long stride, is able to cover ground quickly.
David Morris making the tackle. The Buccaneers trying not to let the ship sink in the last 30 seconds of the first half.
This is a good screen. Has some good blocking downfield. You got an elusive runner.
The Vikings saw that statistic about no passing yards and said that has to change.
Yeah.
You have to be impressed as you see Matt Soberg, the Pelican Rapids quarterback. You have to be impressed by the sophomore Corey Hackett. He's run for a touchdown.
Yep. And
his 2 touchdown passes, one on that sideline, right on the money, and then the bullet across the middle, right on the money.
Yeah, he's got an excellent arm, and it's been pinpoint many times today.
Well, let's set things up for you. 1st and 10 for the Vikings at the Buccaneer 40-yard line. 23 seconds left in the half. Pelican Rapids has 2 timeouts. The Buccaneers want people to scream, have 1 timeout left. 23 seconds left on the game clock.
Well, I think it can happen. We can either have a score or we have a good defensive stand here.
Weiss and Sjostrom behind him. Solberg will throw it long for Moats. He caught it at the 15-yard line.
Another great play by Terry Moats. I mean, that's just athletic ability. You know, the ball is not a great ball to catch when you got a defender in front of you. So you do have to rely on the athlete's ability to jump up and get the ball first. He wanted that ball.
Solberg put it there, a 25-yard gain. That play took 7 seconds. There's 16 seconds left. Morshing putting the pressure on, but Moats makes the play.
And look who's there right next to him. It's number 82, Jason Geisler, who just caught the touchdown pass previously.
The Vikings take a timeout, Leo. They each have a timeout left. Let's set it up here. 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. You take your shot at the end zone throwing, or do you go with your big backs?
Well, I tell you what, I would. You know, you still have a player who can kick a field goal too, but why not? One timeout, you can get 2-3 plays in.
So the Buccaneers, who came in giving up an average of 5.6 points per game, and it's 27-20 Pelican Rapids. Both these teams will like to score. 1st and 10 at the 15. Solberg, deep drop, pump fake to Moats. And that ball was almost recovered. It's incomplete. Buccaneers want to fumble, but it's ruled incomplete.
That was a good defensive play by Brian Jewison.
And that was almost 6 going the other way.
It sure was.
Tricky pass here.
That's one of the downfalls of a screen. You know, if a linebacker is able or a defensive back is able to read it early, he can really disrupt the entire play.
Moats never came down with it, never had possession of it. 2nd and 10 at the 15. There are 10 seconds left in the first half. Weiss, the front back. Moats, the deep back. They'll go for it again. Solberg, bullet, Sjostrom, touchdown!
Well, would we expect anything less? I tell you what, Ryan Sjustrom's beginning to be a valuable player for this entire Prep Bowl.
Ryan Sjostrom, 15 yards, and this sort of looked like the Geisler pass for the Buccaneers.
That's
a bullet.
Right. A very pinpoint pass in between defenders, and another determined receiver to get into the end zone.
So it's 33-20. Diaz on for the extra point. Oh, what a fun first half. This time it's good, and it's now a 14-point lead. The Vikings leading 34-20 with 4 seconds left. Ryan Sjostrom catching a 15-yard pass from Matt Solberg.
Again, another pinpoint pass to the receiver, over defenders, in between defenders. And a nice big receiver to have the determination to get into the end zone. Great play.
Ryan Sjostrom, he's earned a break. He's been everywhere. There's been a handful of players on both teams who have been all over the field offensively and defensively. And a theme throughout this first half, Leo, one team scores, the other one, what you can do, I can do better. They come right back.
And, of course, the great athleticism shown here.
That's a long scoring drive by this first half standards.
That's true. It just took 1 minute.
And Moats had the big play leading up to it on that 25-yard pass from Solberg. There's our kickoff. And it's down by Steve Watermund. 3 seconds left. Okay, do you take a knee or do you go for the Hail Mary?
I'd go for it. I know if I was John Baffin, I would go for it. I'll go for the Hail Mary. Why not? You never know what. Tell you what, with all these big plays going on in this first half.
Got time for one play. 1st and 10 from the 35. Well, if they go for it, we'll see the arm strength of Corey Hackett. How far can he put it up there?
Well, they've got 3 receivers out. The fourth one is on the wing.
Now they're going to run it. Morshing runs it, and that ends a wild and entertaining first half. Pelican Rapids with a 14-point lead, 34-20, in one of the more fun first halves I've seen in high school football in a long time.
Well, it started off a little slow, just about 2 or 3 minutes into the game, but then we started to see a proliferation of points here.
The teams all of a sudden woke up. And the Bucks go to the locker room down by 14, but great performances already in the first half by a few players on each team. Pelican Rapids answering each Buccaneers score with one of their own. The Vikings punted on their first possession, and they were off to the races after that.
Well, you know, Pelican Rapids scored 31 points in the first half last week against Badger Greenbush. So, you know, to say that they're used to this, yeah, I guess you would say that, especially in the playoffs. They're playing really well, and that's why they're here in this championship game.
Well, we knew the Vikings would put some points on the board. They come in averaging about 38 per game and giving up 15. They've given up more than that, but they've already got 34. Let's go down to the field now, and Andy Skugman.
All right, Jeff, thank you very much. I'm with Waterville-Elysian-Morristown coach John Bakken. Coach, it was fun to watch, I'll say that much.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was what a half. I mean, I thought our coach upstairs when we scored our second last touchdown, he said, run some more time off. We don't want him to score again. I didn't know there was going to be 3 more scores in that period of time, but there was. I mean, a lot of excitement. That last one hurt, but I think we're going to be able to come back the second half, and hey, we can stop a couple times. They're not going to stop us, and we'll get a couple more scores, and we'll come off with a victory.
Tell me what the goal is for the second half.
We're going to somehow stop they got speed. I knew they had speed. I didn't know they had that much speed. They got a lot of fast guys. Somehow try to bottle them up.
I'll let you get in the locker room. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right. We do have a wild one going on here in the Class 2A title game. This is the Northland Ford halftime report. We'll return to the Metrodome and the Prep Bowl 16 in just a moment. Back at the Metrodome, this is the Northland Ford halftime report. You see the halftime score. Pelican Rapids 34-20 over Waterville-Elysian-Morristown. Welcome back to the Metrodome, everybody. I'm Andy Skugman. We thank you for watching live continuing coverage of Prep Bowl 16 here on UPN 9. 2 champions have been crowned so far. Before we go home tonight, 4 more teams will have state titles. You know, First Bank is the premier partner of the Minnesota State High School League, and they salute all the players, coaches, and teams that have made the right calls all season long. Now, you can make the right call, open a First Bank home equity installment loan or line of credit, and receive a long-distance calling card with 60 minutes of free airtime. Offers good through December 31st, 1997. So make the right call. Both teams have made the right call so far in the first half. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown, however, still trailing 34-20. The Northland Ford halftime report will continue live from the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in just a moment. Pelican Rapids 34-20 over Waterville-Elysian-Morristown after one half of play. Welcome back to the Metrodome, everybody. If you're looking for defense, you picked the wrong game here in the Class 2A title game, but we do have a lot of offense. Let's go upstairs for analysis of the first half with our game announcers, Jeff Grayson and former Viking Leo Lewis. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, Andy. You're absolutely right. Plenty of offense. In fact, Leo, looking at the stats already at halftime, first of all, you think our score could be a final, and it's only halftime. Yeah. There's already a handful of players who have 100 or more all-purpose yards.
That's right. I tell you what, Pelican Rapids, I mean, it's not new for them to score. I mean, 2 weeks ago, they scored 63 points. Last week, 45. So, you know, they're used to scoring, and we just seen a lot of that here in the first half. On the other spin, you got the Buccaneers, who have kind of struggled compared to the Vikings, but at the same time, they haven't allowed much rushing. But today, it's been a lot of the Pelican Rapids offense that has done the job for them.
The Buccaneers with 2 turnovers. Pelican Rapids punted on their first possession and then scored touchdowns on 5 of their next 6. Matt Fear, on defense,
Right.
made the interception, and then from that point on, that seemed to kind of give Pelican Rapids life. They score in 5 of 6 possessions. Since that first possession, it's been pretty much they score, back and forth.
That's true. And we've seen a lot of the Buccaneers offense, too. They've done real well in getting back into this game.
We've had touchdowns. We've had off of special teams. Both teams playing fantastic on punt and kickoff coverage. In fact, we saw Schustrom at the end of the first half. You mentioned special teams, how big they can be. I'm wondering in the second half if we'll see the ball being kicked a little differently, because both teams are having no problems returning these.
That's right, and plus the kickers on both teams, when they do line up for kicking off, I mean, the ball kind of dribbles the distance instead of in the air. So hopefully we'll see some better strategy in that form of the game.
Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights. We could spend a long time on these. Pelican Rapids scoring first, Matt Soberg, and he did it himself.
Of course, I think he's kind of like their player of the game right now. I think it got the offense started. The quarterback is instrumental in this offense, and it takes a talented athlete to be able to hand it off and see a lot of what's going on. And plus our running back here, Terry Mortz, with the speed, like he's said all season, has been the game breaker for them.
78 yards, Moats with 5 carries, 133 yards, and just like that, it was a 2-touchdown game. But then the Buccaneers come back, sophomore Corey Hackett to Gabe Howard.
Oh, of course, Gabe has used his athletic ability to get this done. You know, the quarterback did his job by getting the ball out there high enough, but the receiver had to use his athletic ability.
6 passes, 103 yards for Howard, but then it's Moats right through the middle coming back for the Vikings.
Good. On Moats' 2 touchdowns, he has not been touched enough to stop him from getting into the deep secondary and eventually outrunning everybody.
That was the Vikings' 3rd touchdown. Back come the Buccaneers. Hackett doing it himself.
And we haven't seen much of Corey Hackett. He basically has just been throwing the ball and handing it off. And, of course, we need to use his athletic ability a little bit more.
This is like a recap of the week. This is one half. Because Ryan Schustrom, remember that name, puts on the Jets right after that touchdown, answers with a Vikings touchdown.
Of course, Coach John Bakken of the Buccaneers has said this team has speed, and they've shown evidence of that on 3 of their touchdowns.
The Buccaneers get into their drill, 24-second drive. The big pass to Geisler, Jason Geisler. He took it all the way.
That's right. This game has not been short of determination and very good athletic ability. At the same time, both teams are able to strike back after their defense has been giving up the points.
Well, Soberg proves the Vikings are multi-dimensional. They go to the air. Soberg with the bullet to Schustrom. He scored off the kickoff. He scores on that pass.
And to counter a receiving play by a Buccaneer receiver, the Vikings come back with their own receiver who has the determination of getting into the end zone.
Well, I'd say for diversity, you'd have to give one of the player of the half awards if we had such a thing, to Ryan Schustrom. He's done it in all different ways.
I tell you what, the Vikings have been in this position before. They scored 31 points in the first half last week. They scored 63 points 2 weeks ago in total. So they're used to being in this situation.
You're absolutely right. 63 and 45 in their last 2 playoff games, and they're on par with that kind of a pace right now. In their first 3 games of the season, they scored 37 points each game. Mm-hmm. They've also scored in the 40s twice in the regular season, 3 times if you count the playoffs. So you're right, the Vikings have offense, but so do the Buccaneers.
Yep.
But they've only allowed more than 9 points once coming into this game, and Pelican Rapids took care of that in a hurry off the first 2 possessions.
Yeah, that's what's surprising. I think in the championship game, sometimes you get you get to that point where a team just isn't having a good day. And obviously we have 2 good teams here.
So we're getting set for the second half. I thought that the attitude of Buccaneers coach John Bakken was refreshing. He seemed to be having as much fun as the players and the fans were with the first half when Andy talked with him.
That's right. I think so. And he's been very creative with his offense, and I'm sure he has some concern with the defense. I think he had pointed out they just need to bottle up the players of the Vikings, and at the same time prevent them from getting in the end zone.
You heard him show respect for the Vikings by saying, boy, do they have speed.
Yeah.
He knew that his team had some potent offensive weapons, but I think seeing Pelican Rapids in person, David Hagen's team, he's realizing how much speed they have.
That's right. That's one ability that is not, you cannot discount, and you'll see it further as we go through this prep bowl in the class in class 3A, 4A, and 5A and 6A. You find that speed is going to be of abundance.
There's John Bakken. He has coached 13 years. First year for Hagen. Bunkowski on the kickoff, and if we had short kickoffs, it's scooped up by Sean Houlihan at the 30-yard line. They'll mark it at the 31. No one has been backed up. I'm surprised by the distance of the kicks.
Well, I think maybe, can you punt on a kickoff? I think maybe that will serve better, but
I think you can.
There's some strategy to this. I don't know if they've done this all year long, but sometimes having it on the AstroTurf and have it skip down, you can have just as good a coverage with that.
Well, a field possession, the field position, I'm sorry, is any indicator we could have a similar second half like to the first, because it's at the 31-yard line. First play from scrimmage of the second half, Tony Storing getting across the 35-yard line, and he's tackled by Jason Dillon.
We haven't talked about Storing in this halftime debate, but you know, he's been the man for them. He's running back kicks and catching the ball, and also running the ball.
Take a look at the numbers in the first half, and there were plenty of them. You see the first downs even, the discrepancy in the rushing yards.
Yeah, of course, and Pelican Rapids has been sticking to their game plan. We knew that they were a great rushing team, and they've proven that so far.
And the Buccaneers, a little more of a passing team than the Vikings, and they proved that in the first half. Handoff from Hackett, and it goes to O'Malley, and Boom Boom is stuffed at about the 36-yard line. Trent Hagen got him, and 50 points and a half by two teams is a Prep Bowl record.
Oh,
so
wow.
we've set a Prep Bowl record for most points in a half, 54.
And we were there to prove it, right?
Yes, you can say you were there. If they keep scoring like this, I think there'll be about 100,000 people who will say they were there. We'll see how the second half goes. They've got a tough act to live up to. 3rd and 3 at the 38. Corey Hackett calling the signals. He's got Morshing behind him, and it's complete. Jim Whitus. First down. Buccaneers. Schustrom making the hit.
I tell you what, that's a tough play for a defensive back. You just don't know when that ball's in the air, and when you have your back to the ball, it's hard for you to react, and sometimes this makes it very advantageous for the receiver.
Moats was also there, but it's a first down. The Buccaneers cross midfield, 1st and 10 at the 47.
Well, we knew the Buccaneers had more of a balanced attack, and they're showing it right now.
Storing the deep back. He's got the ball. Gets through. Got about 4 yards. Trent Hagen makes the hit on Tony Storing. You mentioned how active he was. He had 22 yards rushing in the first half. He also threw that pass off the option one play after making a great defensive play, stripping the ball.
That's right. He played on both sides of the field. And we're seeing a lot of players do that today.
And effectively. They give him 5, 2nd and 5 at the 42. Hackett taking his time, looking things over. O'Malley in motion. Storing again. Breaking a tackle, getting near the 35-yard line. Chad Morrison makes the hit, but the Buccaneers now putting together a little bit of a drive.
That's right. You see, they're staying patient. You know, they find out that they're 14 points behind, but you have to get those first 7 points before you can do anything. So they're sticking with their game plan, it appears.
Storing with a first down. Did a great job on special team returns in the first half. Picks up the first. It's 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line. He's the deep back. O'Malley closer to the quarterback. Hackett hands off. It's been working. Storing gets through, and he picks up about 6 yards near the 30-yard line. He's tackled by Jason Dillon. So it sort of looks like the Buccaneers taking a little bit of a page from the Vikings on this drive.
That's right. They're keeping it on the ground. They're utilizing good blocks. Got a good runner here. In Storing, as elusive as he is, he picks up a good gain.
I formation. Now O'Malley moves a bit to the left. Storing the deep back. And inside handoff to Boom Boom. I can see why he has that nickname. Weiss making the tackle. He gets past the inside the 30, though. It'll be 3rd and 2 from the 28-yard line. Eight and a half minutes left, third quarter. Here's the handoff to Boom Boom.
Well, he's pretty effective, but I'll tell you what, when you get more than one defender on him, you can pretty much handle him.
He took on Devin Pavlaki there, and Hackett doesn't like what he sees, calls a timeout. With 8:08 left in the third quarter, John Bakken will talk things over with his quarterback, Corey Hackett. His team down 34-20 on the Medica scoreboard. Well, that's our situation in the 2A championship. So far in the second half, the first drive of the half, a 41-yard drive in progress for the Buccaneers. 3rd and 2 at the 28. We'll see out of the timeout what John Bakken came up with. Some movement at the line. Right side, Storing had to get to the 26-yard line.
That will be interesting to see if he made that.
See where they mark it. Tony Storing on the right side.
Yeah, definitely first down.
Moats made the tackle.
I suspect they would have gone for it on 4th down anyway.
We saw that a couple times in the first half. The Vikings, actually each team did that. 1st and 10 at the 25, a gain of 3 for Storing. This drive started at the Waterville-Elysian-Morristown 31. Storing and O'Malley handling the ball on this drive. There's O'Malley in motion. Storing again. Gets through to the 15, inside the 15. 1st and 10 for the Buccaneers. Trent Hagan makes the tackle.
Some of that elusiveness, some of that instinct that the running back needs to have when a hole is plugged up. You have to find some D-light. Obviously, the hole is there, and then it disappears, so you have to find somewhere else to go.
He cuts back. Gain of 11. Storing 13 carries, 57 yards. He's sitting out this play, getting a breather. But Hauer is in one of Hackett's favorite targets on the right, wide right. Morshing gets through. Oh, somersaults. John Morshing.
Well, he gets right back up, though.
That's the important thing. Chad Morrison making the tackle. This is so far about a 60-yard drive. It's 2nd and 7. And the ball is at the 12-yard line. Morshing looking like a gymnast there.
Yeah. Well, Morshing was Waterville-Elysian-Morristown's leading rusher in the first half, so we saw him again here in the second half.
The 11th play of the drive, 2nd and about 8. Storing inside the 10-yard line to about the 8. So he took one play off and he's back in. Lucas Bakken made the play along with Josh Hansen.
Well, I like Storing's instincts. He gets to get more than you would expect out of an average running back. He has some good feet, shows good feet, breaks the tackle. You know, tries to follow his blocking.
Another big 3rd down. Has just had one moments ago. 3rd and 5 at the 9-yard line. It's been all Buccaneers possession to start the 3rd. Hackett, they'll run it. Storing breaks a tackle. Inside the 5 to the 3, needed to get to the 4. It should be 1st and goal, Buccaneers.
Again, you find that Storing is getting a lot of those yardage on his own. He's getting some good blocks initially. But like all good running backs, you have to be able to make some yardage on your own and elude one-on-one tackling.
And he eluded Sjostrom right there.
Yeah.
3 for 3 on third down conversions this drive are the Buccaneers. First and goal from the 3. There's Storing. O'Malley lined up right behind Hackett. O'Malley, boom, boom, trying to get outside.
Can he get it?
Lucas Bakken brought down Mark O'Malley.
It would have been nice to have Storing on that play, but we have O'Malley hurt a little bit again. It seems like every time he goes on that turf, he's landing wrong. Again, as we look here, he's more of an inside runner. It's kind of tough when you're trying to outrun a defensive back to get away from him. Yeah, he kind of landed on that shoulder wrong.
Now he's coming out on this play. There's Lucas Bakken, no gain, second and goal from the 3. Lined up off the other hash mark now. Here's Hackett. Handoff and snuffed. Morshing snuffed on the play. That's Trent Hagan. Great defense there, and it'll be another third down here.
That's right. Trent's been around the ball all day. Great penetration. He's able to take advantage of a cross block and still make the tackle.
Hackett has not thrown on this drive. It has been all on the ground. They've had the ball for 8 minutes. There's a look at Hagan, who made the stop. Threes are wild. Third and goal from the 3. Pitch. Storing gets by 1, and he stopped. Sjostrom was there, so was Moats. 4th down.
Well, that's great. Pelican Rapids had good pursuit there. They defensed it well. Sometimes the running back has to still go forward when he has a sweep. You got to be able to time it before you decide whether you want to continue around the sweep or to jut in for the score.
Moats took on that blocker, Pat Sheehy, and forced it. And Sjostrom made the play. 4th and goal from the 2. 2 receivers on the left, 1 on the right. Hackett rolling. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Justin Miller on 4th down. He got it in a crowd, Leo, and it was hard to see if he had it at first, but he did.
Of course, good drop, good pass by Hackett, but hey, Miller's been in the game twice. He's caught a 2-pointer and now a touchdown.
The extra point try, they're going to kick it. Wow. No good. So the kicking hurting the Buccaneers. It is an 8-point game off that impressive drive. 16 plays, 69 yards, about 9 minutes of possession, and they cap it off this way.
Well, I tell you what, John Bakken, Coach Bakken has been able to, in this drive, do 2 things. First, run down the clock and stabilize possession of the game, and at the same time, in the event we get a touchdown.
Pelican Rapids up by 8. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown threw 1 pass on this drive, but they made it count.
That's right. I mean, it really does matter when you call the play and whether you're successful or not.
Corey Hackett to Justin Miller. A 2-yard touchdown, and it's 34-26. A squibber, and it looks like it's recovered by the Buccaneers. It is! An onside kick. Jason Geisler. That surprised everybody. That is Brandon Borst. Brandon Borst recovers at the 47-yard line of Pelican Rapids. Here it is.
Well, I tell you what, I bet Coach John Bakken is saying, well, man, on all our kickoffs, the ball isn't going anywhere anyway. Let's try an onside kick. They're not going to get any extra field position if we don't execute. So Smart call.
It went right through the hands of Matt Larson. He had it, lost it. Brandon Borst makes the recovery at the 47 of Pelican Rapids. First down and 10. Tony Storing gets the handoff. What a drive. What a drive by the Buccaneers. Some impressive numbers, near record setting. 16 plays, 69 yards. The time of possession, 8 minutes, 58 seconds. That is 38 seconds shorter than the longest drive ever. Wow. Stillwater in 1984 had a 9-minute, 36-second drive.
That's right.
They come close.
Well, if you have the ball, there's no way the opponent can score, so.
That much is true. 3 yards for Storing. 2nd and 7 at the 44. The pitch. Morshing cuts. And he got maybe 2. Making the play there was Weiss.
We've got a hurt guy on the 45-yard line here after a nice run for 5 yards.
Let's see if we can get a look at who the injured player is.
Yeah, it looks like the center.
Yes. That is Josh Pallant. Let's hope he's okay. Gives us a time to catch our breath. Let's hope Josh is okay. We're back with more on the Medica scoreboard in a moment. The injured Waterville-Elysian-Morristown player is Josh Pallant. He is an offensive lineman. He's the center. He was hurt on the previous play, and he's the guy snapping the ball.
Well, oftentimes in line play, you just never know sometimes how your body's had to adjust to everything. I just think he strained his calf, and you know, maybe due to a lack of water in his system, it could just be cramps. But he walked off pretty well.
That's right. He walked off under his own power. It's 3rd and 5. We're always talking about third down conversion possibilities for Waterville-Elysian-Morristown in this half. So far in this half, they've rushed 15 times for 63 yards, about 4 a carry. Hackett is 2 for 2 passing, 17 yards and a touchdown. 3rd and 5. Buccaneers down 8. Hackett back. Low for Hauer. He's had a couple of shoestrings, but not that time.
Yeah, and at the same time, the receiver was moving as the ball was coming to him. He was moving away. So sometimes you have to understand that a quarterback can't be perfect all the time with a pass, so the receiver has to come to the ball, even though he wants to get a first down. So, but Waterville-Elysian-Morristown has been very effective when they split out in the 4-receiver formation. So I look for them to do that again, as they are right now.
Jason Dillon and Lucas Bakken on the defense on that last play. 4th down and 5. You see, they're 2 for 3 so far. They try to make it 3 for 4. Pressure. Hackett rolling. Weiss. Hackett won't go down. Weiss will get the credit for the first contact on the sack.
A great play by Jake Weiss. We haven't seen that often. Corey Hackett getting caught behind the line of scrimmage.
Kirk Peterson was also there. Here it is, Leo. Hackett rolling out.
Again, with his mobility, Hackett's been very effective. He just hasn't had a chance to get in contact with the receiver on this play. So, consequently, Weiss is able to get to him.
Chad Morrison deserves some credit, too, for first applying the pressure. At midfield, exactly, the 50-yard line, the Vikings escape a bullet off that onside kick. Weiss, who made the sack, is the ball carrier, and he gets a couple.
Well, as we know, Pelican Rapids hasn't had the ball much this quarter.
Other than the onside kick, that's their first play from scrimmage. Brian Pittman making the Buccaneer tackle. They give Weiss 1 yard, 2nd and 9. We only have 90 seconds left in this third quarter.
The Vikings have to understand they're still winning. So if they can control the ball, they'll control the game.
They lead 34-26. Soberg, the option pitch to Sjustrom. Lots of white shirts there, nothing doing.
Yeah, that is one thing you have to watch out for. That pursuit by a defense is going to always catch up with you if you try to change directions and go the opposite way.
John Morshing, first player there for Waterville-Elysian-Morristown, brings up 3rd and 15.
Yeah, the quarterback had to wait a little bit longer if he could have. before he tossed it, but consequently we get a loss of about 5 or 6 yards here.
Tony Schnorr also there. 3rd and 15 from the Pelican Rapids 45. They lose 5. Soberg, deep drop. Complete to Sjostrom. Fumble. Buccaneer football. Storing was right there. It looks like it's recovered by Jason Geisler.
Well, is Geisler going to stay on the field? No, he may not.
Sjostrom
you never
fumbles.
know. That's right. Well, you know, Sjostrom just couldn't see who was behind him. And the defender just really played a very aggressive technique and just went for the ball.
Tony Storing, that is the second time this game, Leo, he has stripped the ball, and it's resulted in the Buccaneers taking over. 2 great defensive plays. Look at that.
We had talked about Sjostrom and how he handled the ball. It went against him this time.
1st and 10. Here we go again. The Buccaneers with the ball, and Storing gets rewarded for that great defensive play by getting the handoff. Trent Hagan, he's been all over the field on defense for the Vikings, making the play. Time running out in the 3rd quarter, and it looks as though the Vikings will be scoreless in the 3rd quarter after putting up 34 in the first 2. That's going to be the last play of the 3rd quarter. So 6 points scored by the Buccaneers, and that's it off that long drive, setting up what should be a fantastic 4th quarter of play. The Vikings have the lead, but it's only 8 points.
Well, by looking at that team coming off the field, you can tell they were in a battle this quarter.
Get set for the 4th quarter of Prep Bowl 16 in a moment. That young fan saying, hey, let me have my camera time. All those fans are trying to get in front of her. They are Buccaneer fans, and their team has been down all game, Leo. They're down 8.
But they've had the ball in their possession for over 10 minutes of this half.
Well, they certainly have owned the time of possession in this half, thanks to that 8-minute, 58-second drive. Hackett across the middle. Deflected and almost caught. Weiss thought he came down with it. What a wild play that was.
Isn't that something?
How many did that go off of? I think 3 players. Here's the replay.
Well, it didn't look like the receiver knew exactly where the ball was going. It was miscommunication with the quarterback and receiver, but we almost had another one come in for the grab. Just missed it.
Gabe Hauer was one of the Buccaneer players who touched it. Weiss almost picked it up before it hit the carpet. Buccaneers with more than double the time of possession, but they're still down 8. A big 3rd down here. 3rd and 4. Hackett back. Pressure. He's going to have to run for it. Gets to the 45-yard line. That should be enough.
Yeah, should be.
Weiss makes the tackle.
Again, we haven't seen a lot of Corey Hackett. I mean, he's been handing it off and passing, but in terms of his running ability and athletic ability, getting more involved in the running offense, we haven't seen much of that. But here we go again with this, a crucial 1st down.
They'll be measuring. He had to get to the 46 from our vantage point. It looks like he's got it. It all depends on how it measures out with the chain. He's got it by the length of a football.
Yeah. We have to understand this youngster is still just a sophomore. You know, he's still got 2 more years of high school football to go. He passed for 227 yards last week. And he's having a pretty effective command of this offense.
Yeah, Hackett is playing well. He's run in a touchdown. He's thrown 2 perfect passes for other scores. And then that ball in the 3rd quarter to Miller was where it had to be. But his only mistake was early when Matt Fear picked him off on the first drive that the Buccaneers had in this game. That was about the only mistake. 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. Buccaneers on the move. Hackett rolling, looking across the middle, incomplete. Brian Jewison, someone he hasn't gone to really today. Matt Fear there on the coverage. He likes those rollouts.
Yeah, we were talking about the interception that he had in the first half. That was a play that was very similar to the interception that he threw. And, of course, he was on the mark more, but the receiver just didn't get it in his hands good enough.
Not to belabor the time of possession point, but in the second half, the Vikings have had the ball for 33 seconds. Like you said, it's tough when you don't have the ball.
I'm sure they're restless, but they still feel that on the scoreboard they're still winning.
Yep, that's the most important statistic of all. 2nd and 10 at the 46. Hackett, hands off. Morshing. Good job by the Vikings defense, led by Chad Morrison. So it's another 3rd down coming up here. He got across the 45. They give him 2, so it's 3rd and 8 at the 44. Another 3rd down play, Leo.
Right. 3rd and long.
Gabe Hauer is lined up to the right of Hackett on the wide slot. Inside left is Jim Whitus. Let's see who Hackett goes to. Pressure. He goes to Morshing, and Weiss snuffs it. Chad Morrison with the pressure, and Weiss makes the stop. 4th and 6 at the 42.
Well, it's 4th and long, but we see no evidence that they're going to punt it. We have a quarterback eluding the rush. A great pursuit by Jake Weiss.
4th and 6. 3 receivers to the left. Hauer, the lone receiver, to Hackett's right. Morshing the back. Hackett rolling across the middle. It's caught. 1st down, Jim Whitus. Lucas Bakken makes the tackle, but it's a 1st down inside the 30-yard line.
Well, Corey Hackett is being very effective in his passing. Like we said, he threw for over 200 yards last week. He stays in the pocket, and with someone in his face is able to contact his receiver. And the receiver did a good job staying in the zone and catching that ball.
The Buccaneers, 3 out of 5, 60% on 4th down conversions. 1st and 10 at the 28. They keep moving the chains. Vikings with an 8-point lead, though. Hackett handing off to Storing. Across the 25.
Boy, it's still very effective. He picks up 4 or 5 yards. Clock still running off. Close to 9 minutes here.
Chad Morrison. He's made a lot of tackles in the second half. He stops him, but it's a 4-yard gain for Storing. 2nd and 6. David Hagen just wants to get his offense on the field, and the Buccaneers won't let him do it so far. 2nd and 6, ball at the 24. Hauer in motion. O'Malley in motion. Storing, nifty footwork. They need to get to the 18 for a 1st down.
It looks close.
He's right on it.
Jeff, you said it right. Nifty footwork. That's what it takes. You know, running back, receivers, any skill position, people have to have good feet in order to be effective, and he showed it right here.
Lucas Bakken made the stop, but yeah, watch the feet.
And had some good diversion and blocking by his teammates. There you go, O'Malley still giving a good block.
1st down. Storing getting close to 100 yards, over 4 yards a carry. 1st and 10 at the 17.
He's been a very good workhorse for this team.
Hackett calling the play. Hands off, Storing quickly through. All the way to the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Buccaneers.
Boy, he hit that hole really quickly. And still shows some strength. Even though he's a small guy, shows some strength by running over a defender and getting the 1st down.
Matt Fear makes the tackle. 1st and goal from the 5.
As we see here at ground level, he wasn't touched until he got 10 yards into the defensive backfield and still ran over some people.
Tony Storing, a 5'10", 160-pound senior. 102 yards now. We just showed you earlier, but he got 15, so he's over the century mark. O'Malley in motion. Storing. Stopped inside the 5. The Vikings snuff that one. Eric Kuvas. They give him a yard. 2nd and goal from the 4. In the 3rd quarter, the Buccaneers were on the other side of the field in this similar situation.
Tell you what, they've been very effective when they've spread the defense out. They're not going to use that formation right now, but they've been very effective in passing and running out of the multiple receiver defense. But let's see what they do here.
Corey Hackett, you have to be impressed by his poise thus far. 7 minutes left. It's an 8-point game. Hackett fakes the handoff. He rolls. He's under pressure. He's running for it. He got to the 1. 3rd and goal.
I tell you what,
Schustrom on the tackle.
Hackett was looking for somebody there. He had 2 receivers, but there were about 5 or 6 defenders just waiting for him to make a decision on whether he wanted to pass it or run it. So it was a well-defensed play. You've got an injury on the 4-yard line over on the other side of the field.
And that's O'Malley. Mark O'Malley. We'll get a report on him. We'll be back with more on the Chevy scoreboard. You can see the Waterville-Elysian-Morristown trainers looking at the knee of Buccaneers senior Mark O'Malley.
Looks like he's having a tough time getting up here.
Yeah, it's his right knee. He's in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, number 33. Almost looked like his knee buckled right there.
Yeah. He's trying to place a block on a defender. Didn't get a chance to get in good position for him.
O'Malley's rushed for over 1,000 yards this year. That obviously he's needing help getting to the sideline, and he's been doing a good job today, mainly as a blocking back for Tony Storing.
Well, O'Malley is a senior, so I know he doesn't really like to go out this way to end his career as a high school player.
Well, Mark's obviously in a lot of pain. We'll see what we can find out about his condition. They'll have to do this without their blocking back O'Malley. 3rd and goal from the 2. Handoff, Storing. Did he get in? I see no signal.
Boy, that looked very close.
Trent Hagan again making the stop. It'll be 4th and goal from inside the 1. He did not clear that plane. That was Tony Storing. Over 100 yards today. Here it is.
Well, I tell you what, nothing like a nice dive play. I thought maybe he got there, but you have to compliment John Bakken, Coach John Bakken, for getting these guys up for this half and controlling the game the way he's been doing it with this team this half.
Well, they like their 4th down conversions. Can they score on this one? The Buccaneers down 8. The 14th play of the drive. Storing. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Tony Storing got it in.
And Storing, he does it all for this team, for this Buccaneer team. Plays on special team, has been the workhorse for this offense this half. Good leadership by Corey Hackett, who's also been effective in his passing. And of course, like we would imagine, they're going to go for 2.
It is 34-32, exactly halfway through the 4th quarter, 6 minutes on the dot left. Their 3rd quarter drive was 16 plays. That was a 14-play drive. But this play's as big as any of them.
That's right. Justin Miller's in. You've got a wide formation here by the Buccaneers.
The extra points have haunted the Buccaneers. Rolling is Hackett. He went for Miller, Leo. You called that one, but it was incomplete.
Well, I tell you what, there's a smart play
Justin
by
Miller,
the Vikings defense.
Justin Miller, the intended receiver. 34-32, Pelican Rapids still leads in a wild one on the Chevy scoreboard. There's Mark O'Malley. We hope he's going to be okay. The senior from Waterville-Elysian-Morristown. 3 Pelican Rapids turnovers have led to 18 Buccaneer points. And there's the kick again. It's another onside kick. The Buccaneers say they have it. We have got no indication from the officials who's underneath that pile. The Buccaneers have it again.
Amazing.
David Morris. And the Vikings will have to play defense once again. This is an unbelievable game for onside kicks. Nick Berg for the Vikings was in there on the hands team. Here it is.
Here's the replay. Man, I tell you what, anytime that ball is on the AstroTurf, you just don't know what it's going to do. It probably would have been more imperative for the Vikings to have other people around the player who was going to get the ball so that they could ward off all of the impending opponent players as the ball was there loose. So unfortunately for the Vikings, they have to play defense again.
Just like the last onside kick, right through the hands of a Vikings player. That was Nick Berg. Storing back in there. He's still on his feet inside the 45. In this game, Pelican Rapids has had the ball for 33 seconds. Matt Fear made the tackle on that play. That is as big a statistic as the scoreboard.
That's right.
Unbelievable.
You can see a lot of the Pelican Rapids players getting dejected. They have to remember they're still in this game. They're still winning.
Absolutely. They're up 2. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown closed it to 34-32 on a 14-play drive. They made a 16-play drive in the third quarter. 5-yard gain for Storing. He's on the pitch again. Nothing doing that time. He may not have even gained a yard. Jake Weiss, who's been all over the ball, makes the tackle.
Good pursuit. Jake Weiss comes from his middle linebacking position and is there around the ball every play. He's just as effective on defense as he is on offense.
This second half has flown by because we've hardly had any pass plays. The clock keeps moving.
That's right.
With all these running plays. We're under 5 minutes in the two-way championship.
You can see why Jake Weiss is the leading tackler on this Vikings team.
John Bakken with a smile on his face. He's enjoying it. We hope you are too. 3rd and 6. Buccaneers. Hackett rolling. He's under pressure again. He's going to have to run for it. Inside the 40 to the 35. He's hit out of bounds. That should be a first down. Terry Moats makes the tackle. Hackett rolling out, and he ran for it again.
Of course. As you know, any quarterback who could be elusive and be able to roll out and be an effective offensive weapon on the run, it's going to help the offense. 1st and 10 at the 34. The Buccaneers are 5 of 13 on 3rd downs. Pelican Rapids 1 of 3, but we've only seen them for like 1 play in the second half. I've never seen a game like this where the offense has been kept off the field, but through long drives and onside kicks, that's what's happened. 1st and 10 at the 34. Pitch. Double. Gabe Howard. Snuffed. And there's a flag, maybe our first flag of the game. Yeah, we haven't seen that yellow thing on the ground.
Ryan Schustrom in pursuit. Kirk Peterson was also there. Little razzle-dazzle did not work.
Yeah, it could be a clipping play. It looks like the Pelican Rapids bench is jumping up for joy.
It's holding against the Buccaneers. This play was snuffed by the Vikings.
Yeah, anytime you have a reverse play, there's always an incidence of clipping because you've got to make sure that pursuit is contained. At the same time, the pursuit did contain this runner.
Ryan Schustrom, who did so much damage in the first half on special teams and running, makes the sure tackle there.
Well, that's a big sign for the Vikings. Very rarely have they had an instance in this half where they've been able to have some lost yardage.
Ball at the 41. They mark it at 2nd at 17. Waterville-Elysian-Morristown still down 2, and they're going for a big gain. deflected by Moats, covering Justin Miller. Flag down on the play. Was he face guarding? That looks to be the case.
I think it was more pass interference. Obviously, the defensive back jumped up in the air without knowing where the ball was. And when you have your back to the ball as it comes to you, it's very hard to defend that way illegally.
Let's see. Yeah. Yeah.
So he was clearly in the way of the receiver. Now, if for just a moment he would turn back and look for the ball, he would have been illegal. At least I think that is the way it is in high school.
If he is facing the other way, you're right. That's a good defensive play by Terry Moats. Instead, after the Buccaneers penalty for holding, it's a Vikings pass interference penalty, and the ball will be moved all the way up to just inside the 25. We'll call it 1st and 10, 25-yard line for Waterville-Elysian-Morristown, down 2, just inside of 4 minutes left.
Well, the Vikings have to realize that as we look at the total yards here, the Vikings have to realize they're still winning. You know, they should be just as patient as the Buccaneers.
Look at that stat. It's been all Buccaneers in the second half, but you mentioned Pelican Rapids still leading. That was Tony Storing. Over 100 yards rushing today on first down. Ball's inside the 20, gets 6 yards. Brings up 2nd and 4. The clock continues to move. Under 3.5 now.
Jeff, you had mentioned, you know, the way they are controlling the ball at the line of scrimmage. It's just amazing how many yards they've gained in contrast to the Vikings, and also the time of possession. They're going to stick with that game plan, it seems.
They're determined to keep the ball from the Vikings. The pitch. Storing. Snuffed out. Devin Pavlaki, who's made his share of tackles today.
Yes, he has.
Snuffed Tony Storing there.
That's what it's going to take. You're going to need some tackles behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, we've mentioned third downs before. 3rd and 7 at the 21. The play of the game coming up here, although they'll obviously go for it on 4th down if they don't get the 7 on 3rd down.
Well, they've been known to make the first down with long yardage to go.
5 of 13 on 3rd downs. Hackett, lots of time. Nobody open. He throws it up. It might be picked off. It is! In the end zone, Terry Moats.
Nice heads-up play. With the receiver down on the ground, he could have very well just let the ball drop, but he went for it also. Good turnover.
Hackett back to pass. It looked like he didn't have anybody open.
Yeah, it looked like a desperation pass there. I know he had a receiver in the general area, but it was certainly defended well.
Pelican Rapids takes over when we come back on the Chevy scoreboard. Welcome back to the Metrodome. First down play. The Vikings now will just, I would assume, just try to hang on to this ball. Something they've hardly gotten to do. Brian Jewison making the tackle off of Terry Moats, who made the huge interception. The Buccaneers have 1 timeout left. 1 chance to stop the clock. We have a timeout on the field right now. The Vikings have all 3 of their timeouts. 2:14 left in this game.
Yeah, it's important for the Vikings to get a first down. If they can get that first down, they could pretty much seal the fate of the Buccaneers.
Well, if the score remains the same, John Bakken and his team are going to look at the statistics and marvel at them, and also marvel on how they don't have the lead when they've controlled the ball so much. You don't see this very often.
Well, if they don't win, it's a bitter contrast to the first half, where they still scored a lot of points, but losing by 14.
The Buccaneers have kept the Vikings off the field, but now they need a turnover in the worst way. Pelican Rapids up 2. Handoff. Sjustrom to about the 25. Joe Gerke making the stop. 2:08 left. There is Ryan Sjustrom, who electrified the Pelican Rapids fans in the first half with that return all the way.
We still had big plays in the second half. They were just small ones.
Some great drives by the Buccaneers. It's 3rd and 5, so a big third down here, Leo.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how this goes. It's all about field position, especially for the Vikings here.
The Buccaneers have taken their last time out. They cannot stop the clock. As you look at Mark O'Malley, getting treatment there from the doctors, looking at his right knee. Third and 5. Handoff, snuffed. Second effort. He needed to get to the 30. He is short. Ryan Tegmeyer making the play there on Jake Weiss.
Well, we haven't seen a punt since the first quarter, but if field position is going to be important, I would suspect that the Vikings will punt on this time.
It's 4th and 3. The ball's at the 27-yard line. The clock is running. Minute 35 left. Remember, the Buccaneers have no timeouts. So the Buccaneers are going to have to do it with no timeouts. And there's a delay as the clock is run down to a minute 21. Ryan Sjustrom, the punter. How many punts have we had in this game? Not too many.
Yeah, I think this might be the third one. Had one on each team. Schustrom's last punt was for 38 yards. He does everything, doesn't he?
Yes. Punts. He's caught a touchdown. He's run one back. Been a great game for Ryan Sjustrom, but it's going to be the Viking defense on the field here in the last 121. The ball will be snapped from the 22-yard line. Looks like the officials are going to put 4 seconds back.
I watched you. Yeah, can they...
I think they're going to put some time back on the clock. It reads 1:21 right now.
Boy, we have a lot of plethora of players to choose from in terms of the player of the game. I mean, we've had some excellent talent out there today, excellent performances.
You're going to slight somebody. Sjustrom, Storing. On defense, Weiss. Don't forget Terry Moats, who had that long 78-yard touchdown where his speed got ahead of the pack. The sophomore quarterback, Corey Hackett's played well. Special teams have been a huge part of today's game.
Great punt.
Storing at the 36. Trying to get outside. He gets out of bounds to stop the clock at the 45-yard line of Pelican Rapids.
There's another young man who can do everything. He returns punts. Today he's been an effective runner from the line of scrimmage.
Waterville-Elysian-Morristown must go 45 yards in a minute and 14 seconds, but they have no timeout.
That's right. The Buccaneers are going to use their multiple wide receiver formation here.
John Bakken always has a smile on his face.
Yes, he does. He's enjoying it.
1st and 10 at the 45. Gabe Hauer, Hackett's favorite target, is to his left, but he's not looking that way. He's looking right. Ball caught by Jim Whitus near the 40-yard line. knocking him out of bounds, Terry Moats, who's also been all over the field.
A nice strike by Corey Hackett. Sophomore's doing well. He's playing a great game. He's showing a lot of leadership out there. That's what you need at that quarterback position.
Whitus gets 7. 2nd and 3 at the 38, and that play only took 4 seconds.
Yeah.
A quick out-of-bounds play.
Good play calling by the coaching staff of this Buccaneer team.
Time left in the game. Back to pass again. Hackett under pressure. He's going down. Chad Morrison.
Boy,
Under a minute.
I tell you, this is a grueling contest. Very exciting. Each down has a great play.
3rd and 6 at the 41. Hackett under pressure again. He gets away. Throws cross field. Complete. Justin Miller. Right in the middle of the field. Clock continues to run.
Well, there's little Miller again. I tell you what, he's always in the right place at the right time.
Moats in there on the play. 36 seconds left in the game. It's a first down at the 32. Coming up on half a minute in the 2A championship. Hackett back to pass. Complete.
Oh, it's important to get out of bounds.
Moats makes the hit on Jason Geisler.
They're going to have to get onto the ball. Clock is still running.
Hackett wants to spike it. They're at the 25-yard line. Lots of time being used here.
Wow.
That's a lot of time that went off the clock. You have
Yes,
maybe
it is.
2 plays, right?
Maybe, yes. Can Coach John Bakken get into his creativity bag again?
9 seconds left. The ball's at the 25-yard line. It's 3rd and 3, but they're obviously going to have to throw it more than that. But it is 3rd and 3 at the 25. No timeouts. He's living this one. He's living every
That's right.
play.
They have to get in the end zone, and at the most they can use 2 plays. So getting a first down is not even in the cards.
And you have to get out of bounds if you don't get in. Hackett rolling out. He's going straight back. Throws it up. Intercepted.
Jim Whitus is doing what all safeties who are in the middle are supposed to do. Make sure if a ball's thrown down the middle that you cause some diversion.
Leo, the way this game started turnover-wise is how it's going to end. Matt Fear made the pick just like in the first quarter. He intercepted Hackett.
That's right.
4 seconds left.
Great
Soberg
play.
will take a knee. Pelican Rapids hangs on and defeats Waterville-Elysian-Morristown for the 2A championship.
That's what competition is supposed to be about.
The Vikings victorious. I believe that's the second, yes, that's the second straight game where we've had a team named the Vikings win the game.
I always want to mention that you have 12 champions playing today. It's too bad one has to win and one has to lose, but you have 12 teams coming here for the Prep Bowl who have shown excellence throughout the year. They should be commended. But the Pelican Rapids to be congratulated for winning this game.
What a fantastic game it was. It started out as a shootout. In the second half, it was all time of possession by the Buccaneers. The Vikings defense on the field virtually the entire 24 minutes, but they made the stops with 2 interceptions late to hang on. And they are the 2A champions, winning 34-32. Coach David Hagen, in his first year, winning a state title.
Hey, you got 1,000% there, huh?
It really was a great game. Both teams showing a lot of heart.
Well, it kept everybody on the edge. You never knew what was going to happen next, defensively or offensively. There were great plays on both sides of the field and also in special teams efforts. So they played well.
Actually 3 unbeatens have lost their first games in the Prep Bowl in our first 3 championship games. The Pelican Rapids Vikings are 13-1 and the 2A champions. In a game where they hardly had the ball in the second half. 2 interceptions down the stretch. Leo sealed the deal.
Well, they rose to the occasion. That's what it had to take. Because Waterville-Elysian-Morristown was definitely on the move. They controlled the entire second half.
We hope Mark O'Malley is okay. The doctors were looking at his right knee. We're sorry that he wasn't able to be in there down the stretch. He did a great job as a blocking back mostly in this game. A 1,000-yard rusher his senior year. We hope Mark O'Malley is okay. Jake Weiss holding the gold. He earned it playing on both sides of the ball today.
It's been a long season. To think that they started this season in mid-August. It took a lot of effort and concentration and dedication to get to this point for both teams, as well as for the other 10 teams that are playing here today.
3 fantastic championship games so far, which shows how competitive the Prep Bowl 16 field is. We're going to go down now to Andy Skugman, who's with one of the heroes of this game. Andy.
You are correct, Jeff. Matt Fear, congratulations. You're a state champion. It's got to feel great.
Yeah, it feels great. All year we've been going for this, and it just we've working great. Our division's real tough, and I'll tell you what, a lot of teams could have been here, but we just played our best, and it turned out for the best for us. So,
tell me about this second half. The first half, you came out strong. In the second half, it totally turned around.
Yeah, we just lost momentum with turnovers, and they just took it to us, running and passing. Just kind of took us apart the second half, but we played good when it came down to the wire. So,
tell me about that last interception, maybe one of the biggest interceptions of your life, huh?
Definitely, it definitely is. Just an unbelievable moment. I had a feeling they were going deep, obviously, time down, so we just all played back, and it just happened in my hands. So.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy the victory.
Thank you.
All right, that's Matt Fear. Pelican Rapids, they're the winners. Let's go back upstairs.
Thank you, Andy. 2 interceptions for Matt Fear. We'll be back to wrap this up. Pelican Rapids, the Vikings, are the Class 2A champions. A game that started wide open, ended in nail-biting fashion. Pelican Rapids does not score in the second half, but wins 34-32 in the Class 2A championship over Waterville-Elysian-Morristown. Jeff Grayson along with Leo Lewis back. And what a wild game, especially with time of possession, but the Vikings made the stops when they had to.
Well, yeah, and they had to. I mean, they didn't do well offensively in the second half, and it was like 2 different types of games. I mean, we had a wide open one in the first half, but at the same time, the defense of the Pelican Rapids Vikings was good enough to win.
It really was a fun game to be a part of. We hoped everybody enjoyed it. And we have to pick players of the game for every contest.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had a tougher time. There were about 6 or 7 players we could have had for the players of the game.
Of course, and you had a lot of big plays on both sides of the field on both teams. And it turned out to be a great game to watch.
The Buccaneers, after going with the passing game in the first half, really went with the running game in the second half, and that sort of leads us to our first American Dairy Association player of the game, Mr. Tony Storing of Waterville-Elysian-Morristown.
Again, he was an all person by by his teammates. I mean, he did everything. He returned kicks, he ran from the scrimmage, played defense. So it was fitting to give him the award.
He ran for 117 yards and a touchdown. He also had 2 punt returns for 41 yards. Our defensive player of the game, Andy Skugman, just spoke to him. Pelican Rapids, Matt Fear, the 2 huge interceptions.
Oh, of course, they were very, very huge. I think we could name a lot of players on the winning team of the Vikings, but at the same time, Matt Fear came to the occasion to have 2 landmark turnovers at the right time.
His first interception led to the Vikings' first points. His last interception clinched the championship. Now it's time for our play of the game. Let's take a look at the play of the game. I believe it's going to be the play that sealed it. Matt Fear, his second interception.
Again, there were a lot of turnovers, big plays in the game, but this one sealed it for the Vikings.
I have to say that our American Dairy Association player of the game is Tony Storing, who will receive a certificate and donation sent to Waterville-Elysian-Morristown on behalf of your local dairy farmers who ask, got milk? And our player of the game is, on the defensive side, is Matt Fear from Pelican Rapids. So that's it for the 2A championship. 3A is coming up. Stay with us. You're watching Prep Pool 16 on UPN 9.